và cái dấu 3 chấm ấy sẽ thấy phần âm thanh. Đấy, phần âm thanh là chỉnh được giữa 3 luồng tiếng khác nhau. Trung lập, cảm xúc và luồng tiếng Anh.
Và xử lý khá khéo cầu thủ bên phía Timor Leste. Đó chính là Luis Figo. Thả bóng hai ra thì Hoàng Đức đã có mặt ở đó. Và mở bóng của Đình Bắc dành cho Hoàng Hên. Với tỷ số này thì chúng ta hy vọng là sẽ có thêm những sự thay đổi tới từ ông Kim Giang Sích. Ở trên băng ghế dự bị thì vẫn còn Ngọc Mỹ, cũng là một cầu thủ mà
we've heard it a lot, right? A lot. But otherwise, you don't have a huge amount of kill threat there, and then moving the Akali
appeared on screen, they are being booed. I like it. I like to see the showmaker quote about him loving being booed. I think that's so cool. I think when you go on these stages, you gotta expect it. And I think it kind of defines what kind of player you are. If you're the kind of player that shuts down from it or really energizes yourself from it, want to show up and shut them up. So, I mean, I think from a mental standpoint, it's good to find just joy in it regardless. Because yeah, if you get gassed up when people are cheering for you but can't handle
the opposite side when it's silent or people are booing you, that's a dangerous game to be playing because there's not a, you know, if you're not T1 or KC, it's hard to find a consistently like really actually just T1. If you're not T1 are the only everywhere crowd favorites.
Absolutely.
Every other team, you're going to be playing places where there's going to be people who aren't your biggest fans. Oh, make Javik cannon.
That's a beautiful drawing.
Done. That's on authority. That's a Dracos and Finn shield.
Yeah.
I've heard they kissed. Just saying it. I heard it happen.
Sparks are flying.
Well, if you're just joining us, we're getting reports from players on the stage of audio issues. Now, these were different audio issues that were not caught during ready checks. So League officials are now replacing the audio units entirely on the stage. Hopefully that will resolve it. And in the meantime, let's send it back over to the desk. Maybe they have some opinions on Javik.
Thank you. I also think it's canon, and it should be canon. Also, I love that you said these issues weren't present, because they do checks. And sometimes stuff appears, and then people are in chat, and they're like, flaming LEC. But sometimes new issues arise.
It happens, especially when you get a crowd in, right? And you don't have bubble pop going through the audience.
Sure.
How are they meant to know that they're ready for the games if you're not bubble popping all over?
You're gonna keep referencing, and nobody knows.
It's not even been 8 hours yet.
Yeah,
why are we complaining?
Yeah, why are we complaining?
Other fanfics. Leona Diana.
Yes.
I mean, it's true. It's on.
Is it?
Well, there's a Riftbound. The new Riftbound cards.
Yeah.
You have Diana attacking Leona, but she's holding her sword back. Like it's like, oh, she doesn't actually want to attack her.
Attacking in like a saucy way?
Yeah, well, everything can be saucy if you want it to. I'm not here to kink shame.
That's true. Wow, is this where we're at already? I don't know.
This is medic analyst.
I mean, listen, it's the beginning. It's the beginning of summer. We had our draft. You guys already absolutely expertly broke down the draft. So the only thing to do is to talk about random stuff.
Yeah, it's an exciting weekend. I will say, and this is a patting Riot on the back, right? Because we're not involved in scheduling decisions at all. The schedule for this split, I'm much more of a fan of than I was for Spring Split. We do not have. Oh, we're in game. We don't have any teams that are playing 7 games in the first 4 weeks. Let's go.
Medic is a fan. He's sucking up to Riot.
Woo!
Medic is a big fan of a lot of things.
I mean,
I really appreciated his point on. Never mind. We're gonna let that go. We're gonna let go of whatever Medic.
He said his truth, and we agree.
He was spitting up there.
Absolutely.
He was
Some things need to be said.
not talking shit. He was spitting facts. And now we're seeing it engage on the top side. Albro goes in for a quick hook shot wall dive. That's right, folks. 2v2 in the top lane. You'd think it was lane swaps. It's not.
This is the Australian lane setup we're seeing here right now.
They're going to go back to lane, though. Riot banned this. They put out a stop order on this. They've changed the game in such a way that this is no longer completely viable. But we might get the around the world Camille kickoff here as Caps has gone too far. The E flash in from Albro is too clean. The Ignite is ticking. Caps can flash, but where is he going to go? I think he's just dead.
I think he has no option here.
Sidestep. El Yo-Yo. If El Yo-Yo gets his kills, even worse.
Sonic Wave.
He's waiting.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's the worst possible start. Yo, shout out to Albro. His bot lane is going to be dire, but Supa wasn't going to do anything level 1 anyway. Well, now he might die level 1 because LeBron's on the way in.
You don't have Shroud, my guy. I mean, if you can dodge this W.
Yeah, with
or just tank it.
Yeah.
With
tanking good, though. I think tanking was the right choice.
Yeah, didn't use his flash. I mean, nice play by Alvaro, swiftly going for his Eros tour around the map, and now he's going to end up nice bot lane. As Caps is going in there, but you see it's quite difficult to trade into the Galio unless you hit all those free little spikes. You're not going to do that much damage now. He would also get the magic damage shield when he hits level 3. And this is kind of what we expect. We expect the Galio to hold back this lock and not let him out of the cage, because if he leaves the cage, if he leaves that mid lane, he is a menace.
The dam, the metaphor that you used earlier, as we see level 2 capitalized on here by Labrov. Alvaro missing out on some XP after that, the Eras Tour, as you called it. Supa, again, the expectation here, first 3 levels, maybe even up to level 6.
Yeah.
It's going to be MKOI on the back foot. As long as Labrov is here, I imagine Alvaro will also feel the pressure to stick around, but we'll have to find out.
And we're going to see how much farm Supa gets, because right now it's at 7 CS to 19, and you really don't want to miss too many of them when you play Akali, because gold is important in this video game that they are playing. You really want gold so you can get your Hextech Alternator on your first base or so, and really start doing some damage. No, you're stuck in the ghoul cage.
Stuck in the ghoul cage. Nice. Obviously, you can queue out, but queuing into the Yorick is not necessarily ideal.
Labrov is here, the engineer on the dam, trying to make it burst. We'll give Caps a push out now, so you can get maybe a recall and get a better lane state.
And keep our eyes on what the itemization choice is going to be. Lichbane, Protobelt, the 2 that
Pillar?
we've seen. As
No
Pillar's
flash?
there on Alvaro. No flash
He's
from earlier, and down he goes. Another kill. This time, once again, donated to the opposing number's jungler.
I mean, I think Alvaro learned a very important mechanic there. You cannot E out of the Rel W, because it's like constant knockups.
Oh,
Now
Labrov in
danger.
trouble. Oh, you're walking in. The heal is there. Crashed on over the wall.
Can hit it. Yeah, it's flash.
If he hits the Q, Labrov is done. Extra movement speed, nice. Flash away. Good to get that extra flash out of Labrov. Going to make him a lot more vulnerable for that impending Akali all-in in the bottom lane. Still ignition there from Caps to heal up, but for now at least, MKOI have prio around the mid lane, and Elyoyo using it very obviously to go for Raptors here.
Yeah, I think the Might Know is on the Raptors right now.
Hard to say.
Yeah. See, this is the game of League of Legends these days. The supports, they are not bot lane. They are glorified middle slash junglers. They will just be here, push out waves, and try to fight for whichever jungle camp that is available.
Which I will say, way better version of League of Legends.
Absolutely,
in my eyes.
yeah. Peak.
I do not need supports. More 1v1s in respective lanes with random people showing up.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like the random additions. Alvaro, though, is still just level 2. And again, for Camille, once you have hookshot, it's not the end of the world not to have more points, but getting a few more levels, a little bit more gold.
And I think you really want the level 6 eventually, so you can use the Galio Camille combo. It's a legendary combination. Really good trades by Supa here. And a big chunk on the Hansama. Now the threat of Alvaro is big, but you see, it's actually just not even walking bot lane preparing for the dive. He's just going to go back mid because he assumes Victor will just recall.
On Jojo. Attempting to break the dam, but MKOI are here to support Jojo. And that initial damage really turning against Human. Nice flash out, immediate crash down to try to keep him standing. Alvaro already here, still only level 2, but he's got the damage, he's got what it takes. It's going to be the turtle down. Labrov next on the list as Elyoyo's going to finish this one off. Gives the kill over to Mirwin. It's a double for MKOI.
That's a damn good play. I mean, Mirwin picking up 2 kills already. Now already has the Dirk. Will soon go for that Yumus, I assume. Really helping out, because this Jace will eventually lose side lane to the Yorick. But the more gold he gets and the further he can stay ahead, he can delay that moment, giving MKOI the chance to make these explosive fights. Because you see MKOI in these skirmishes are just unmatched.
That they are.
In this game.
Although you see also in the isolated 1v1, now that Supa has ticked over to level 5, has a few points in that 5-point strike. Hard for Hansama to really match those short trades, which means it's going to be even more difficult to survive once level 6 arrives. But here's the play once again. Skewmon thought he had the angle, but MKOI good to collapse.
I mean, you see, really good confidence by Jojo, I think, to walk up and just check this play by Skewmon. Mirwin goes for the flash in, really good. Forcing out the flash from Skewmon, and it's just so easy when Alvaro is here. Like, Camille can just cover so much distance with that hook shot. It's so difficult to go in deep because she will eventually show up and reach you when you're trying to run away, so.
It's also just so much harder to sidestep than a Rel crash down. Like, yes, the AoE is smaller. Yes, you're only hitting a single person, but in the early stages of the game, just makes it much more impactful. As now, level 6 is there for Supa. Shuriken flip in. W, ulti traded there for Hansama. He's dead. Yeah, just completely outplayed there. Hansama used his ult, but there's nothing he can do in that 1v1.
Supa on the camera even waved him goodbye. He just stood up and waved.
As he should. That was the freest kill I have ever seen. Well played to Supa.
I mean, that's funny though, because Hasama probably has learned the AD carry and mage matchups bot lane, but he has not played Victor into Akali a single time. He doesn't know how dangerous this champion can be when you're playing an immobile mage. He's probably seen his mid laners play this matchup and they're surviving, so he thinks, oh, it's fine. But if you walk up against level 6 Akali with double amplifying tome, you will just get shredded.
Now an alternator there as well, so the next time that ulti's off cooldown, Hansama's going to be in trouble. Now he didn't burn the flash, so it's not the end of the world. And Victor is still excellent against dive as we get later into the game, even if it's just one combo into death. But it does mean Mountain Drake, 2,000 gold lead. MKOI, the cooking is paying off. All the braising, the sous videing is working out, and G2 on the opposite side. Look, Lock, we know, can be powerful, but it feels like mission accomplished, and at least in these first few levels, on shutting down Caps and making sure that this Lock can't get out of control.
I mean, the damage is working, and one thing about Lock that he lacks that a lot of other assassins have is some kind of untargetability or invisibility. Meaning that he's one of the assassins that's the most vulnerable to a Camille Galio combo. When he's hit by that Camille ult into the Galio ult, he can't get out of it. He doesn't have an Fear W, a Zed ult, an Echo ult, a Shroud he can go into. He's just stuck in there, and he will eventually go down. So I really like this answer that MKOI has thought about into this Lock champion.
Look, the cooking is so good. And I'm going to be honest, on top of that, Alvaro in those two plays doing a ton of work. And now Broken Blade is going to be matched up against Supa. This is looking a little bit better. G2 have set up topside, but MKOI here quick to collapse. Luckily, the Sonic Wave doesn't connect. However, the level advantage in their favor for junglers. The control of the area also in their favor. Spearman can start to poke down, and it looks like they're hoping to get all three grubs. Skewmon no flash means it's unlikely for him to try and contest, and Caps in the meantime is just forced to be locked in this 1v1. So while G2, I like the lane assignments, I like shifting that Yorick down to the bottom lane. Losing all three grubs when you already have this kind of gold deficit and you already missed the first Drake is pretty devastating.
I mean, it's tough because how do you realistically fight that as G2? You know there's a Galio hovering with that ult the moment you go in. Now Supa going in for the all-in here on bot lane. Broken Blade does not have a single MR item.
The wife trying to find him. Supa running out of energy though. Shuriken Flip does connect. We'll have the passive plus the E2. He's just going to opt out. There's still the healing on the last rights. Can't really afford to risk anything else, and actually pretty ideal for Broken Blade that Supa does go for that all-in, because now he gets a little bit of time all alone with that tower to start breaking down some plates.
Yeah, I mean, Broken Blade is holding his ground there, unbent, unbowed, unbroken, just keep pushing in those waves. I mean, Supa has the teleport available, but he has chosen not to use it quite yet. I think he's really waiting for maybe getting a little bit better item. We will see if he's going to go for the Proto Belt or if it's going to be the Gunblade. We've seen a little bit of all of those items across the world. I do think the Proto Belt is a little bit better. It's cheaper, gives HP, and just the dash is invaluable in so many moments. We'll see what he opts for. So you see Alvaro constantly just hovering around mid, pushing out waves for Jojo. Like, this is where he gets his XP. He's not getting XP in the side lane, so he needs to go mid to these waves to get a bit of crumb of XP.
Supports are getting a very little XP anywhere at this point, but Alvaro is at least has a bit of a lead here, and I don't even think LeBron made a bot lane to push any of that wave, so he's still locked at the start of level 4. And for MKOI, again, name of the game is dive. As we get more into the mid game, if they hold on to this lead, it's only going to make the side lanes that much more difficult for G2.
Moving with a 1k lead now, has picked up the Yumus. It's very dangerous, nice dodge by Caps. Dashes out of the Galio Justice Punch, but here is Elyoya.
Yeah, good sidestep. Using the Soul Ignition just to get that extra move speed, dodge out of the way. And I will say credit to Mirwin, right, in the counter matchup. Obviously did get a lot of support from his team, but this is a guy who is coming under a lot of scrutiny and a player that you definitely want to see step up on this MKOI lineup. And so in the debut matchup to play the Jace into the Yorick and be 1,000 gold ahead,
yeah,
definitely a damn good start.
And it's important to his head because when you look at it, he's kind of the AD carry in this comp. When you look at all these MKOI champions, the carry, the real carry late game with all their damage will be this Jace with his big auto attacks and big shock blasts. It's Jojopyun.
Isolated off the side. Jojopyun doing a lot of work here. Soul Ignition is hookshot wall dive. Ashen pursuit out from Caps. We'll just be able to make it out, but surviving to that tower is going to be tough. MKOI happy to just force that mid wave in. No TP for Caps either, so now he has to stick around, but you can see MKOI lurking in the darkness, ready to punish him. Caps, though, kind of anticipates it again. Soul Ignition to heal back up.
Once again, Alvaro is back mid there. It's a hard game to play for G2, but I will say Caps hovering like that, making them go on him, kind of denied a play from MKOI into the bot lane. So right now, G2 is stabilizing. They're holding on slowly.
Although Lebrov, luckily the back end of the crash down does catch Alvaro to stop that from connecting. Level 4, Lebrov pretty vulnerable to these all-ins. And I think this is one of the struggles if you're the engaged support on the team that's falling behind. There's a lot of high-leveled assassins, Akali, well, at least not really an assassin, but a lot of champions with burst. They can just one-tap you if you overcommit. Especially as your support item is still pretty far away from being able to upgrade.
And we've seen this interaction a few times now when you play Camille into Galio. You crucially cannot E her when she's in her W animation. You can only really E her when she's starting up the W animation.
Oof. Another sidestep from Caps is good. Skewmon waiting behind. But you're right. Good call out. Okay, shattering strike there. Alvaro locked up. Chain CC is good. Alvaro's got nowhere to go. The Galio trying to make his way in. They flash back under their tower. But the lockup is there. The taunt is there as well. Super trying to finish it. JoJo, boom! Otto's one, wins the other. It's a double kill.
And that was a swag win by JoJo, getting the victor with the edge of the first Q and then aiming for Labro. That was beautiful. And I think a big smile on the faces of MKOI right now after that play.
Caps tries to get something back, but now Super immediately walks into mid lane, hits the shuriken flip. Caps is dead. Oh my god! Oh! I don't know if it's Caps or Crabs play today, but he certainly got clapped. No doubt in my mind, MKOI 7-2, double dragons, 4K lead with the Akali bot lane option. They are nasty with it.
I mean, Super is executing this Akali champion perfectly right now. I don't know if he in the break here, which is sitting at home spamming Akali mid in solo queue, but his mechanics are clean in all these fights, setting up all this pace, knowing exactly when to go onto the victor. And now we saw it again, the beautiful win there by JoJo Pune. And here Caps just came in here with the Purgatory.
Trying to catch Alvaro, who dashes out. Caps with a good body block, but all of MKOI are here. There's nowhere to go. He can't put him in the little box. Oh my gosh, he wants to send MKOI to purgatory, but my man is in hell right now. That is an 0-3 lock.
Yeah, someone called Dante and didn't know what layer that is.
Yeah, we gotta know. Where Virgil at, bro? We need the information, because we're certainly not playing on Summoner's Rift anymore, I can tell you that much.
I mean, we are in the desecration land right now, as you see Supa once more just pushing in mid lane, getting plates from that move of Caps. He left the mid lane now, and Supa is completely left untouched.
And look, we saw G2 at MSI, these teams at EWC. It's been rough. Are they allowed to have a rough week one? Yes. Does anyone expect it to look like this? Absolutely not. So this isn't taking away from G2's status as a potential top team, a contender, but it is taken away from the ego and the pride, most certainly.
I mean, absolutely. G2 was at, without a whole lot thought. Maybe there's a fight? No. Just the wipe being called out. Wipe aggro pulled by Mirwin. But I would say MKOI, or G2 has been at MSI playing against all the best teams in the world. But none of those teams have drafted like this. They have not seen this in their life, I'm sure of it. MKOI has been brewing here home in Europe, preparing something for the start of summer, and I'm liking it so far.
It's so important when you talk about teams taking off. You want to see what they have been cooking in that offseason. JoJo Ping with the part about trying to sidestep here, but there's just nothing he can do. Shut down there as Skewmon grabs the kill. Shredding through the resistances, now looking to get a bit of money back. Super on the way in, Caps only level 10. And if there wasn't a pillar there, I feel like Super would have immediately gone all in. You can see it. There's some bloodlust happening.
I mean, Super needs to calm down a little bit. Labrov is right there. Caps is a master of baiting. He definitely knows how to act out like he's passive. Ooh, smells it out.
But who is baiting who is the question there.
Yeah, I mean, Super just reads the
Wastes a lot
situation
of
well.
time.
Face checks with the shuriken.
So
Walks
good kill
out.
back onto JoJo. Heads up play. Skewmon's still strong, even in gold with Elyoya. But in the meantime, while that bot play is happening, Elyoya is able to grab the Herald, crash it in mid lane. And MKOI, again, weathered the early storm of the lock, made the most of this Akali counter pick in that bot lane 2v2, and Mirwin in top lane also winning out on the 1v1. It feels like they got every single thing they could have wanted, but again, really giving a lot of credit to Alvaro here for that first gank in the mid lane, committing a lot of resources, making an already tough early bot lane 2v2 even worse by spending that time in mid lane. Really paid off.
And it feels like G2 was a little bit off guard there because Labrov was their top fighting against Alvaro, and Labrov decided to base and go back bottom. I feel like it wasn't really communicated that they didn't know if Alvaro based or not, so because they had just seen him topside. It wasn't a very random level 1 mid gank. So dying to it, not optimal, but once again, kudos to MKOI for snowballing this game masterfully. We said only 8 minutes ago that Miriam was up 1k onto the Yorick. It's 2k now, and it's brewing. It's absolutely getting stronger. It's really that free item mark, or first of all when your mana immune is stacked, but also when you get that armor pen from Cerulda, that's when you shock blast, you start hurting so much more.
Definitely will. And a lot of people on the opposing side going to be vulnerable to that poke. Caps and Ensemble going to need to play very carefully. Of course, has the upgraded mercs to mitigate the magic damage, but the physical damage a little bit tougher to deal with. Alvaro also with the Blood Song, as well as Thunder Sky, still not seeing Lebrov get enough money to complete that support quest, which means him pretty squishy. Protoplasm Harness also hit pretty hard in terms of the early stages, so that is going to be a very vulnerable rel.
Yeah, I just want to take a step out right now. If you just tune into the stream and you see this Akali bot lane,
this is a real game of League of Legends. in the LEC right now. This is not a show match. I know the first match was a show match. This is not a show match.
This is real right now. This is not like some weird swap mistake in champion select by MKOI. They picked Akali bot into Victor, and it's working out fantastically so far.
And again, when you look at Hansama and Supa, I would never look at either of them as chefs. Seeing the Victor, a great look. Seeing a even more niche counter, an even better one. Now MKOI kicking this fight off. Mirwin running in hammer form, flash over, flags a little bit there. Delays behind us. There's a taunt on the other side of the fight. Scumon's going to be in trouble. Nowhere for Broken Blade to go either. It's just going to be 2 quick kills as all 5 members of MKOI descend on the top side of the map and make it look easy.
And this is MKOI. This is the MKOI that we love to see. MKOI that commits to every single fight with 5 members. Every single play is a 5-man play for this team and organization. And the fact that they're putting on the gas, even when they're playing a draft that's not very conventional, is super exciting to see. Double TP comes out, BP and Scumon is way too far up. You don't have a tier 1 tower to hide behind, so you will both just perish to the teleports of MKOI. And yeah, really well done by MKOI.
Yeah, pretty cut and dry at the end of the day, right? Massive van advantage as well as gold advantages on so many of the individual members. You can see Yorick still strong in the 1v1, but just not strong enough to finish that kill, especially with so many people lingering around. But third Drake setting up for Hextech Soul. I don't... It's hard to imagine things getting worse for G2, but it is technically possible, and Hextech Soul is one of those things. Yeah. If we look at how G2 can come back, right, like you still have a Victor, you have a lot of champions who have to dive into the Victor. He is on 1.5 items. But if he gets to 4 items in 20 minutes or whatever that's going to take, then there's a chance. As Mirwin, good damage on the Caps. Caps tries to lock him in Purgatory. Now Scumon desperate to finish the kill, but they're not going to be able to get any more damage down. In the meantime, MKOI's side lane pick is a lot more effective. The Camille, once again, the thorn in the side of this G2 lineup.
I mean, we talked about it in draft. You see this Yorick pick, you assume he wants to play this side lane super heavily. But look at how easy it is for MKOI to just attack him on that side lane. This Yorick is pretty much forced to team fight. He can't really team fight, he can't really go to the side lane. He is in complete Zugzwang this game. He cannot do anything about it.
Absolute Zugzwang. Powerless. As MKOI kind of just dancing on him. I would love to tell you more, but look, they're getting completely Goomba stomped, completely, absolutely styled on. And for G2, the methods for comeback are hard, right? You don't have a traditional AD carry. Your mid laner is an assassin, and while it's a really powerful, arguably overpowered assassin on this patch, it has the natural weaknesses of that class of champion, which is it doesn't do anything if it's behind.
We'll say Mirren just missed the shock blast on the Scuttle Crab, so might be a little bit of a mental damage there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Will he recover? That is the question. Let's see. We'll get his player cam, and it's going to cycle through in a second. We'll keep an eye out for the mental. See if he's shattered. I don't know if he knows that he has G2 and Zugzwang, so maybe that would bring it back if he thinks about that, but it's hard to say if he will.
The Zugzwang is tough.
That's difficult. Now, Broken Blade on a side lane, just surviving.
With his wife.
That's true. That's nice.
Alvaro,
nice to have company. Alvaro, stun.
Nice block.
As now the taunt is coming in. Caps waiting over the wall. He's looking for the setup. If he can grab a couple kills here, maybe able to turn it back. Hoping to finish off Alvaro. But now it's the Galio ulti coming in, and Caps has to get the hell out of there. Soul Ignition about to fade. Flashing out, but Mirwin is going to
hủy diệt rồi anh em ơi. Hủy diệt nhá. Khả năng đi tắm đỉa cái.
There's no kick for Elyoya though. Follow up there, Sonic Wave connects. Alvaro going a little bit wide. Cap still waiting off to the side. Scumon down. Supa now unstoppable. Broken Blade next. Elyoya on a rampage. And MKOI just keep winning fight after fight after fight.
MKOI can't do no wrong. Every single fight that G2 tries to take, MKOI is just either more people there or just play better, to be fair. We'll now move over to the Baron, and I think this game is for the taking in favor of MKOI.
We missed this. Oh, he follows him?
No!
Oh, he doesn't follow him! One shot! Oh my god, he doesn't even need to follow him! He's already dead! Oh, that's disgusting! There's more of this replay, but we're lost the mind. There's a replay, there's a Baron happening.
He can't trying to kill Alvaro in the end there, but you see the power of the Galio into the lock, just gives him that extra magic damage shield, makes it hard to really find the execute, and we don't get the execute on lock, we don't get the reset on the E, and it's so difficult to keep fighting here, but you see, Lee Sin is pretty good at chasing people, he has a lot of dashes.
Whoa. Yeah, I mean, we can keep talking about this play, but it's, guys, they pushed their buttons and they killed them. That's kind of it. There's now a Baron buff as well.
So eloquently put.
Sometimes, like, the thing about League as a game with gold and snowballing is, like, sometimes you're the GOAT and sometimes you're, like, the 10-0 Zed who pushed 2 buttons. And even no matter, like, the other guy is, like, sweating 50, you know, keyboard strokes in half a second, does not matter. They're dead. And this is kind of the position this game is in now.
This is kind of the former, yeah.
Yeah. Well, good on Supa. I get it. I respect it. He wants to be the Hokage. It's looking good for him.
But you know, when you know you've gone really long time as super, you haven't eaten for hours, you're super hungry.
Yeah.
And then you get a fine meal in front of you, a delicious meal in front of you. And you take one bite, and do you feel sated?
Yeah.
No, you just get hungrier.
You're hungry.
You get hungrier every single bite you take. And that's how I feel when I look at Supa playing this Akali, because now he's shown me he can play Akali. I want to know what more can he do.
I see. You're not satisfied with the Akali. You want more.
I want to see what more he can do. He has opened Pandora's box, and I want to see what comes out of it.
Yeah. You should talk to Medic about that if you wanted to keep getting weird. He seems to have that one dialed in.
Yeah, I mean, that's a statement. Yeah.
That's fair. As G2, well, they're on the ropes, but they've been on the ropes for like 8 minutes.
The ropes are like those really cheap ropes at the gym where you do triceps pushdowns.
If this was a final, we'd get like really quiet and serious, like G2, stress. We talk about their story. It's week 1. It's a banger arena. It is an incredible venue. But I think G2 just, you know, figuring out what went wrong, maybe not ready enough for the Akali, and trying to hold on to their composure. As much as we love it when MKOI are grouped as 5 and making plays together, they are no strangers to throwing a very one game.
They're quite familiar with the concept, I would say, even. We'll now get the Hextech Soul, though, so it makes it a little bit harder. Jace with the Hextech Soul is very comfortable shooting out those shots.
I lied. They're not on the ropes. They're on the ground. The ref is not paying attention, and they're just getting punched over and over. They're already unconscious, but there's just not...
There's no fouls going out here.
No. They tried to throw in the white flag, like... Ibai like came out of nowhere and knocked that thing out of the ring. He's like, fight's still going, you know? But now we get to talk about
that could have been
the unspeakable violence that we're just going to witness for the next 5 minutes. Because the other awkward thing that we really have to talk about, this comp is sick. It is awful at sieging. Like, thank God for Mirwin, or folks, this would be a 50-minute game.
We would not be leaving the menu.
Like, G2 might still win this just because every enemy champion cannot hit a tower to save their life.
I mean, if you're fighting the enemy champion in the jungle, you are the god. But when you're looking in the base by a tower, you are like, okay, fight me.
Yeah, and like, MKOI, you know, when the glass is closed, the dog's like, like just praying. You're just like, dude, we're not coming out there. Like, chill. Like, if you go out there, they're done. They're doomed. But if they just stay in the house, MKOI, they're going to get a tier 2 here off this Baron, but they're not breaking open inhibitors.
I mean, there's Baron spawning in 2.5 minutes. That's probably where we're going to see them put on the gas.
I mean, Elder Flip is something that we could just be looking at.
Yeah.
So it's not over. It kind of like we should be when Shockbox is hitting that hard.
It's not even going Cyril. They're so ahead. He's just went straight for the voltaic for the big damage.
I mean, there's no real tanks on the enemy team, so.
No, I mean, there's no tanks in this game, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I like this. I would like more of this for game 2.
Yes.
Assassin versus Assassin bot lane. Is it a possibility?
Compliments to the chef. Oh.
Yeah.
Justice Punch.
Justice Punch. Taunt on the Hansama. Elyoya on the Wan. Hansama gone. Okay, well, that is almost all of the wave clear.
Well, shame of you for leaving your towers, Hansama.
You can't leave the house, my guy. They're out there, bro. They're lurking in the darkness, bro. It's a horror movie. Supa trying to 1v2. He has been stuck in the cage, so we'll be forced to ult out. Broken Blade sprinting at this Akali. Flash for the wall. Broken Blade flashes, gets a shutdown. Nope, goes Golden Hides by another second. MCoy just wants to end the game. They're just sprinting past towers. What is happening? What's happening is Supa has died, given up a shutdown. Mirwin just got by a pillar, and now Caps is giving chase.
But what are they doing?
He only put JoJo in Purgatory.
That man is a 1K gold shutdown if he goes down.
Alvaro's about to try to take down LeBron. Elioya is there, so they should be able to finish the kill. Cap still on the chase. JoJo looking to escape with Mirwin running ahead of him. An acceleration gate might help. Tries to get him with the taunt. Little ghoul cage comes out, but
The ghoul cage.
the ghoul cage gone. Okay, we're still 3 minutes away from Elder. If we were 30 seconds away from Elder, our G2 would be in a great position to punish. Unfortunately, this doesn't do much to change their circumstances in the game, but it is a reminder of what we brought up earlier, which is that if you ever have said to yourself in an LEC game ever, this is unlosable
For MCoy.
for any, honestly, for any team,
Honestly, for anyone,
team, you haven't watched enough LEC.
You gotta get watching more, man.
Yeah. And
I
it's
think if Mirwin goes down there and gives that shutdown over, I'm like, okay, slow it down. Because let's be real, this MCoy comp went behind. This
is the duality of man is watching Supa start a 1v2 he absolutely doesn't need to, and watching that shock blast connect. And you're like, wait a second, how are these the same game? All right.
Right. So that's Whisper picked up there.
Just Mirwin. Again, reminder, Akali, bot lane, counterpick, worked. Alvaro, early activity, really, really worked. Caps, shut down early. That is the summary of this game. If you're still watching, you're watching the Goomba Stomp highlight reel. We are in the 360 Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 montage. My man is out here with a bolt action rifle doing flips, back flips off building, headshotting people left and right.
Mirwin is using that item in Super Smash where you pick up the hammer, you just go bonking people with his hammer.
I want to sing the song, but I'm definitely afraid of singing anything Nintendo related for the lawsuit. All right. Oh, big damage. Oh, that poor metal horse.
Yeah.
Just getting blasted. Supa.
Whoa.
Interrupt the E2. He did. He caught him on the E2. Supa's in trouble now. Oh, that's devastating. Galio ult, Cap flashes out off to the side. Broken Blade is still living. The wife is in the midst of the fray. Finally, but Skewmon is getting lower and lower. JoJo Pino looks like he's going to be able to finish the kill. Skewmon just a little bit too fast. Flash away from the Winds of War. Broken Blade still alive. The wife is there. Broken Blade and his wife back to back, but it's not enough. The power of love doesn't beat the power of an immense amount of money and a dragon's soul.
I mean, Mirwin sniped so many people there. He's a Widowmaker in 2 ways right now because he is just so strong this game. He's gonna base and TP it back in, and I think they're gonna push for the base there. 3 rubs.
Surely the game ends here. Again, we're having fun with it, but credit to MCoy. Super dominant, some creative new picks. G2 fighting the best they can, but that's the nature of falling this far behind against this kind of composition. There aren't really great plays, just degrees of bad ones as Human caught up, burned down, almost clears the wave. Elder in 45. My throat senses are tingling, but I think this might just be it. Caps on the way in. Hex Tech Soul. They get one. The Nexus is open. Mirwin knows his job. Mirwin hit the Nexus. Okay, it's over. MCoy will not throw with an 11K gold lead, a soul, and every possible advantage. Well played to them. Getting first blood here in Paris up against G2. You'll love to see it. And that man who just walked off your street, not this man, Supa. Hell of a game from him. Let's send it over to analysts to talk more about the destruction that we just witnessed.
Thank you so much. Yes, not a single cheer was had for MCoy, even though they absolutely stomped the game. I've got to commend the KC crowd for the commitment to the bit. They really were hate watching, but I think we can also conclude Perkz is the problem.
Yep, having watched the World Cup, Perkz out. We need a new manager in charge of G2. Just like Thomas Tuchel should be kicked out of the England squad, even though we got 3rd place, which is the best that they've done in a long time. Anyone that didn't win the World Cup should be banned from coaching ever again, including Perkz.
Or we need Hansama out, Perkz in.
Oh!
Mage's bot lane. There's a Kali in the bot lane. I mean,
True.
Wait.
And Perkz played AD carry for that one split, right? So
It's like a psyop because he's like, yeah, Hansama, you should for sure play mages in the bot lane. I've got these insane strats for you. Feeds his ass off, and then he's like, well, actually, management, put me in, coach.
I do have an apology to make to MCoy.
Yes, me too.
When we were talking about draft, I talked about how I thought in the 2v2 lane, Akali would struggle into Victor and Rel. I forgot that bot lane is not a 2v2 lane anymore. It is a 1v1 lane, and Akali was fine just into the Victor, scaling up to 6, and then super popped off, right? So basically, what happened was supports are broken. You can roam from level 1 and not lose any experience or gold, and therefore Akali into Victor bot lane is good.
Yeah,
it's pretty ridiculous. You just see the Camille starting top, makes her way down mid lane, and then it's like, yeah, 3 minutes. Maybe I can start going bot now. That's a fine time, right? And then, yeah.
Apologies need to be made across
okay, apologies for me. Yeah, okay. So I threw a lot of flag towards Mirwin.
Yes.
But this game, he played the Jace into the Yorick, and he did just a really good job across the board. He was constantly pressuring, he was landing the shock blast. He had a really good fight at 5 minutes where he used his move from top lane to impact the fight and be first and create a numbers advantage for MKOI. And that made it so, like, really started this early game snowballing for MKOI. And overall, there was nothing I could fault him with this game. He wasn't getting caught, he was playing really well on the edge and just using this Jace pick to pressure down G2. He wasn't the star of the show, but this is the stability that I want to see from Mirwin in MKOI.
I think generally MKOI looked very coordinated in this game. You can see it here as well. The 5-minute fight around the topside river. They know that they have first move from top. They know their support is going to be there quicker because Camille traverses ground very quickly. And they always know they're going to have a numbers advantage. And this is what really started the snowball away from G2.
It started very well, I want to say, for MKOI. I think they surprised us all, took us a little bit off guard because it isn't the easiest composition to play. And this is where we got to give some credit to Supa as well. Man, he looked phenomenal on the Akali. I did not see it coming.
I love this evolution of the meta. The fact that we have Akali in bot lane now, and especially that players are so confident in picking it and playing so aggressive on it. Of course, when you get level 6 on Akali, that is the danger zone for this Victor. But the fact that Supa was not just able to get there, but then also punish Caps, punish Hansama, finding these solo kills that set him up to be so useful in the team fights. It was really cool to watch. This feels like, reminds me of kind of 2019, I'm not gonna lie, when a lot of teams were playing crazy stuff in the bot lane, and EU was on top. I'm not saying, like, if this is the world's meta, I have pretty high hopes.
But
you can have the highest hope you want, dude, but it's day 1 of the summer split, so let's temper those expectations a little bit. Like, credit to Supa, he's obviously practiced the Akali, right? He's doing the combos well. I don't think he did any of, like, the super Chinese TikTok sort of Akali combos. They were all pretty standard, especially, like, the kill on Hansama. Hans is standing still. Yeah. It's pretty easy to kill someone who's standing still on Akali when you're that far ahead, but I do like the fact that we're seeing that experimentation from MKOI. Traditionally, it was Mirwin in the top lane who would bring us out some of these different picks. Look back to his Varus that he was playing before everyone else was. I'm liking the fact the rest of the team is doing it. I don't like the meta. I know you do.
You don't?
I like AD carries and supports to be in the bot lane.
For me personally,
but it's
playing,
mages or this?
For me, playing, I like ADCs in the bot lane. But watching I think
can
this
give
is
you.
very cool.
It's different, it's unique, I'll give you that.
Especially how the evolution goes. If it's just mages, I think that gets stale pretty fast.
Sure.
But if now people are going to be playing some tanks here and there, if they're also then going to still play ADCs when it's a good, like, game 2, game 3 of Fearless, and you have assassins, I mean, that's a pretty cool meta.
No, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. The further on we get through a series, the more I'm expecting to see those AD carries, because mages are so much more situational. You can't have magic damage through your entire comp, so you need some of that physical damage. We don't see a huge amount of physical damage coming out of mid lane at all at the moment. You're looking at Yone, sometimes Tristana, so where are you finding that? Top lane, it tends to be where you go, things like the Jace, and I expect to see a further evolution, hopefully, away from pure mages.
It's still Fearless.
So it is still Fearless,
but it's best of 3s. Yeah. We're used to best of 5s, but it's best of 3s. Also, Locke, not that good.
Yeah, he's bad. Perks out, lockout. Those are the 2 things. Yeah, I don't really think Caps had an opportunity to do anything good this game.
But did he play?
I mean, he had a lot of blunders.
He played poorly.
Yeah, he had a lot of blunders. Yeah. He was really greedy, using
stats.
his mobility just like to farm, to hit towers, and then he would get caught right after. And I feel like in general, you could kind of see across the board that G2 looked a little bit like hungover, kind of like none of them were really in the right places at the right time, finding the good plays. Hansama was really quiet on the Victor, Caps dying really early as well. Just didn't set them off to a great start. And we'll have to see if they can adapt in this series, or like G2 always has a slow start.
Yeah.
And right now they're playing against the best teams in this weekend. So this will be a really bad time for them to take that time.
Yeah, I think it's important that we don't excuse the fact that G2 played poorly, but we do recognize the fact they've just had MSI and then EWC and then a here, and they have a coaching staff change, right? If we didn't have the coaching staff change, it would be exactly the same. I wouldn't be surprised G2 looking like this in week 1. However, they do look bad.
Yeah. 5-head MCoy, lose the game, more time to prepare for the road trip in KC, and beating G2 possibly in their first match back, but this was only game 1. Game 2 coming up right after this.
Welcome to the European League of Legends Championship Series.
Brother, let me try.
Wait, brother. Let us break this instead, brother.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
What is this, brother?
Perfection.
A new champion. Welcome to my shop. You'll need the right build. Choose wisely, because every upgrade brings you closer to the next level. So tell me, how will you level up?
Want to find your fastest server every time? Express like a pro and optimize your connection in one tap. Express in game without ISP throttling. Express and shield yourself from DDoS attacks. Express and choose the VPN trusted by gamers everywhere. Express VPN. Experience gaming the Express way. Fast, stable, competitive. Outplay the world. It's time to Express. Unlock free Hextech rewards, exclusive skins, and more. Scan to subscribe.
In your best man speech, you said my wife is funnier than me.
That's factually correct.
Okay.
We're in range.
Nah, it's fine, man. It's fine. Relax. I've got this. I have years and years and years of experience.
Yeah, but it's gonna last.
And there we go. Look at that. What are you so worried about?
Oh,
Welcome to the European League of Legends Championship Series.
How is my voice now?
Oh.
Hello, hello. Hello.
Oh, they were making like at the end. They were making doing like the.
Chain CC is good. Alvaro's got nowhere to go. The Galio trying to make his way in. They flash back under their tower. But the lockup is there. The taunt is there as well. Super trying to finish it. Jojo! Otto's one wins the other.
I go. Okay, hit.
Wait. We can end this time.
Super.
No!
Nice.
And here we are, back for a game 2. Look, game 1.
It happened.
It happened. We all witnessed it. It was awesome. G2 have chosen first pick now, so maybe things change a little bit. Now we get to see how much cooking MKOI have done. Are they a one and done sort of team? Do we get like, you know, we have one interesting course in this meal that they're serving up for us, or is everything weird?
A one-meal pony? Okay, that's
a lot.
Okay,
You can get a lot of meals out of a pony.
Yeah,
anyway, focusing on the game,
yes,
as it were. G2 looked super dizzy and lost. I think you could call it a draft gap. I think that would be disingenuous to the level of execution that MKOI showed, but I do think that I expect a much more standard game 2 than what we saw compared to game 1. And I don't think that the gap is, we're not going to see another gap that size, would be my expectation.
No, I mean, my excitement from game 1 wasn't, I mean, it was a draft, but it was also one other factor. And it was the fact that we finally see what we love about Alvaro. Because it feels like last split, he was playing a lot of these enchanters and we're like, where is Alvaro? This is not the player we recognize. It's not very good in that meta. But now Alvaro in a meta where you have the Camille, the Shen, the Leona, the whatever you want to play that goes in champions. I think he really thrives in this meta where he is not bound to a lane and he can just walk around and make fights happen together in tandem with Alioya. And that to me is what really, really makes it seem that this summer will be different for MKOI.
I think so, and it's just been proven across every single surge in performance we've seen from MKOI. It always comes back to jungle and support. And as good individually as Alvaro is on some of those enchanters, as strong as they can be in the meta, for this lineup, for these 5 players, it's just always felt better when those 2 players can work around, usually with JoJo in the early stages of the game, to just get super active on the map. We saw it in game 1, shutting down caps and trying this lock. Could not play the game, really, whatsoever. We didn't take a look at the damage numbers at the end, but I would be surprised if Bro was not putting up numbers. There was not damage. There was nothing coming into that mid lane, which is devastating for a champion like Locke. But now we're getting ready to get into picks and bans for game 2. Again, G2 have chosen first pick. MKOI will be on blue side. So we'll see what unfolds.
I mean, we don't really know what's going to happen in draft anymore. In the past, I think draft has had a very clear rhythm to it, where you can read the rhythm, you can kind of see where the teams are going. That Akali pick on R4 last game, or B4, was a complete curveball. But G2 is also banning Poppy again on the first pick, which we saw MKOI do last game. Last time, MKOI was one banning the Poppy and the Shen to set up their Camille first pick. Now it looks like G2 might want to do a similar thing.
Poppy taken away, as now is the Nocturne, maybe just trying not to give G2 an angle to assemble any sort of Nocturne Orianna combo. Although with G2 having first pick, it's, you know, it's hard to get it in the 1-2. Now the debate though, and this is something that's interesting for us, right, is that it wasn't the largest patch, that is 26-14, but what we've seen is that even without a ton of changes, people just continued to follow the lines that you talked about, experimenting with mage bots, etc. And we're in a situation now where the meta is incredibly diverse, and so knowing exactly what is going to come out here is tough, and it makes it hard to ban, hey, the perceived power picks for sure, but it's also part of the reason why we're seeing such an early Kai'Sa ban again here, is I think they're just like, I don't know what MKOI is going to play, but we know this is like, when all else fails,
they're probably going to go in.
This is the fallback for Supa, right? This is the thing that we see, and on the side for MKOI, what they're banning away is just like, yeah, the powerful junglers, the powerful diving assassin kind of jungler.
I mean, it definitely feels like the industrial revolution of the game right now. You know, there's tailoring machines, there's steam everywhere, and you don't really know
poor labor laws. The children are in the factories. I agree. It really feels that way, Finn. I
okay,
agree.
you took it that way, Drake, because I did not lead it that way. I was going to lead somewhere completely different. You jumped in.
Take me on a journey.
You jumped on my train.
You're right.
And drove it into
No. Let that metaphor go. Talk to me about the Industrial Revolution, Finn.
No, I mean, it's like you don't really know what the future holds. You don't really know where this is is gonna settle. Maybe mage bots are gonna be phased out because people realize how to deal with it. Maybe AD carries are gonna come back. Maybe we're gonna see tanks in the bot lane. We have no idea where the meta will develop, but we're watching it develop in real time. And to me, that's the most exciting part about every single draft in this league.
Yeah, and I think now...
And it's a Vi first pick.
Vi first pick. But this is the other thing about it that's so interesting is, like, you can come out here with all your curveballs, but this man might just lock in, like, Vi Orianna, Vi Talia. I'm quite clearly aware of it, so they're going to take the Orianna away for themselves.
I mean, the important thing is in every meta, no matter what the meta is, you usually want engage.
Yeah.
Engage is always invaluable in draft, so securing it early for G2 allows them to now pick a little bit more unconventional champions in other roles or just normal stuff.
Well, and MKOI, again, we're going to get to continue to see the depth of Supa's champion pool and what he wants to bring out here in terms of overall mages, because now we've snap locked in the Orianna and the Syndra 1-2. Usually teams like to play a little bit with you know, the illusion of something maybe being a flex, but they're not too concerned. On the opposite side for G2, it feels like a return to stability.
Yeah.
There's no chefing here. These guys are like, you know what sounds good? Plain rice, a chicken breast, and some broccoli. They know their macros. They're trying to...
It would be so fun if someone is locked in Echo bot right now when you were making that.
I'm sorry, is that a thing that you expect to see?
I have seen some Echo bots by Korean pro players into Syndra. The Syndra bot was obviously taking over, and Echo is a good matchup, but it will be Delusion. I assume... Hold. I assume that's going to go to Hansama.
Okay, okay.
Together with the Leona is a pretty good setup. I do want to say though, when I see these champions on the side of MKOI, Orianna and Syndra, you kind of need some kind of consistent AD damage. And there's one player in our league that loves playing AD carry top lanes. That's Mirwin. He does it every single year. It's usually not good.
It's not,
but now is the time to do it.
It's not mere if or mere maybe. It's mere win. Mere win, will he bring out some weird stuff top lane? Right now, we're waiting to see that AD. Maybe we see some bans in that direction, right? Varus was hit a ton for MSI. He's still prevalent, not as a top laner, however. So what are the options going to be as we enter the second ban phase? Ahri taken away. Makes a lot of sense. 2 immobile mages means your backline is pretty vulnerable. You don't really want to give the enemy team any kind of champion who can follow up on the Vi and the Leona.
Yeah, I mean, you really want to secure some kind of bulky guy for Alvaro that can walk up and take space together with the Shincha, because right now Shincha is your only front line, and you need to secure some kind of assistance, some aid for Elioya so you can walk up. And usually what I'm thinking about is something like a Shen that's banned away, is something like an Alistar, a Nautilus, a classic. A good old famous full ace.
Straightforward, honest
support champion.
We'll
see, you see already the Ahri and Cassio being banned here, just setting up for the Orianna most likely. I do think it's going to be Orianna mid Syndra bot.
Yeah.
Never know for sure, of course, but that is the expectation.
Now Mbessa taken away as well, recognizing the potential for AD damage and also the power of like a Syndra scatter into an instantaneous follow-up from an Mbessa can be quite devastating. What is the option here for MKOI? You would expect it's just support with Leona already locked in.
I mean, usually Braum is good into Leona, but you don't really want to go Braum when you have a mage bot. So the Thomas Kensington. Thomas Kensington.
What?
Long time no see.
Sir Thomas? They know we're not playing ARAM Mayhem, don't they? No one's told them that.
There's no
tank engine. There's no
Senna. There's no Senna time. No.
Okay, and what I will say is, Tom Kenshall versus Vi. Like, that's it. That's when I see this, I'm like, okay, this is old school. It's not a Morgana, but it's a similar vibe. I don't feel great about Tom Kench. He is really good into melees. When Leona goes in, you just get to start autoing. You do a ton of damage because of the passive. You're pretty much guaranteed to get the stun. So, like, I see the vision. It's just been so long since I've seen a Tom Kench support that I'm kind of a little bit caught off guard here as G2 are about to assemble Exodia. Yeah. Not new Exodia, like old Exodia. MKOI, you know, last game they got the Egyptian God cards, whatever. G2, this is classic Exodia. We got a Rumble, Yone, Vi topside. Just good old
It's a DRX classic from back in the days when they were winning worlds. This was a similar type of comp that they were playing. The Vi Yone is super good together by setting up. And I will say Thomas is not great at walking up. His name is just Thomas now, by the way.
Yeah.
Thomas is not very good at walking up solo because it's really easy to go on to the Tom Kench. But now picking the Gnar will give MKOI a little bit more front line and a little bit more AD damage. I think it's a fantastic pick. Gnar into Rumble is a tough matchup early, but he does scale fantastically.
And I will say, This MKOI comp does not hit the same as the first MKOI comp.
I don't think anything is gonna hit like that first MKOI comp.
No,
bro.
it doesn't. And I will say G2's comp, as much as it might lack in some of the spicier options, the classics are a classic for a reason. This topside's super oppressive. You've got a pretty vulnerable back line that can struggle. Again, though, I am looking at mid lane. I want to see what Caps can do. He was really shut down in that first game. Need to see if he can find that advantage, because we know how devastating Yone can be, especially when paired along so many of these engage options.
Yeah, I mean, the name of the game is Teamfight Execution. This game will be defined by the execution in those team fights. If G2 can find the Vi-Yone Rumble combo, or if it will be nullified by the comp of MKOI, it's really what's gonna kind of decide what's gonna happen in this game. So really exciting to track. I do think that bot lane in the early levels, very important to track. As a Syndra, you want to push in early. You're playing a mage. You want to use that wave clear to secure push into the Lucian.
That you do. Gearing up now for game 2 in the first best of 3 of LEC Summer. MKOI versus G2. MKOI coming out swinging with a hot draft in game 1. Absolutely demolished G2 and the first lock of the season. Now in game 2, we're still cooking. We still got a mage mid, a mage bot. The rest of the map, though, a little bit more standard outside of Sir Thomas in his pajamas.
No.
That, yeah. That is our chonk pajama. God, I love you, observers. Those are chonk pajamas. Again, this is a serious game that is a high-level competitive sport, and these players are paid, and this is a pajama character, and I love that. I think that is awesome. Just saying, if Messi played in his pajamas, World Cup would hit a lot harder. That's it. That's my only other point.
Going in, going out.
Alvaro, strong level 1. Again, Tahm Kench passive really can just do a lot of damage.
BB flanking here, though. Doesn't have the heat built up.
Not quite. Trying to get to the danger zone here, and Alvaro just going to walk at him, flash over. Flashes traded for flashes on top of flashes. Everybody's flashing. Oh, God, first blood for G2.
Thomas loves these.
They're locked over.
Thomas
absolutely loves this. He's getting hungry. He's a hungry boy. Oh, they're feeding him at this sleepover, the pajama party. All in favor of MKOI. Nowhere for LeBron to go. Mirlan's just running him down. He's got some pajamas of his own. My God, G2. That was not the sleepover you were looking for.
I mean, G2 thought they found Elyoya too far in, but the moment he flashes out, they commit to the play. But Tahm Kench level 1 is absurdly strong. That's why MKOI is walking in like this into the jungle of G2. Maybe G2 hasn't played against Thomas in quite a while, but you gotta respect his sheer force and strength in these early scrappy fights.
He's a big boy. Broken Boy, though, in the 1v1, still get level 2 first. And, of course, in bot lane, we see Supa at 7 CS to Hansama's 14. Hansama also got level 2 there first, so some of the isolated lanes are still working out. But Jojo. Walking in. Auto.
Thomas.
Alvaro. Okay, he's not that strong. That's a level 3 Lucian. He still had flash. That is a great animation.
Look at this.
Oh my God.
Look at
why did you ever leave, Tahm Kench? Oh, that is put that tongue away, bro. That is too. This is a family show, bro. Put that tongue back in your mouth, man. We do not need to see that again. Okay. Well, gonna take a breath. Try not to laugh about Tahm Kench anymore. We'll hold it until the next time he does something funny, which will be probably pretty soon. So, the good news. Gold lead for Mira on the top side. Was able to get boots early, which does make the matchup.
I mean, in this matchup, it's all about landing those harpoons for Rumble. Because the moment you land the harpoon, you slow him down, shred his MR, and that's when you really go for the Flame Spitter. Without the harpoons landing, the Flame Spitter doesn't do that much damage. And Gnar can kind of face tank it. Gnar has opted into the lethal tempo. Historically, not a big rune on Gnar, but has really grown in the global metascape here, just because it makes his laning phase a little bit stronger in the all-in. When you're stacking a big wave,
oh no,
Thomas
got no flash this time around. Run, Thomas!
He's level 1 still. He's 330 in game, and Thomas is level 1.
Well, this bot lane 2v2 is going a lot worse. And I will say, as we got distracted.
Yes.
Is the problem, Finn. We got distracted. What were we saying? We were saying, wow, MKOI are at their best when Alvaro has these engaged champions and agency. As sick as that level 1 was, Tahm Kench is not that champion.
No, he's always been kind of a peeler. He's been the peeling melee support together with Braum, kind of like a warden champion, but now Supa getting dashed on.
Yeah, speaking of peeling, now we're going to wander his way in.
Thomas?
Supa able to find this engage. He needs some levels, my guy.
He needs the thick skin.
That he does. Oh, they are bullying this cabbage.
No, Thomas.
Oh, Thomas. Super locked up. He's going to be dead. Oh, he's getting bullied.
He's level 1.
He's just a catfish. G2.
He's just getting bullied for it.
Okay, so Hans Sama fed. We found our win condition. We said a lot of stuff in picks and bans. Top side, important, all that stuff. Top side is important. Skewmon getting involved in a lot of these kills. More important is the fact that Hans Sama is 3-0 now and is set up to just dominate this entire game. It's going to be really hard for MKOI to do much here. That said, it's not going to stop them from continuing to send Alvaro fearlessly into the face of death.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Hans Sama is so strong. He can take any fight he wants to. His damage is just way too much. Here's the thing with the mages into the AD carries is that they usually push in the waves and make it that they need even more time to scale up before they can really hit those items and then do the damage. But when you don't win lane with a mage and you're getting pushed in like this and just dying on repeat.
Shout out, Alvaro finally hit level 2. It's a big moment. He will die again. That is the price for his hubris. Also, I don't speak any French, but I know that we're locked in with the French casters because I can hear them cheering for the TK level 2.
Yeah.
There's some things transcend language, and the goofy Tom Kench pajama skin transcends language.
As it should, as it should. Scatter the weak goes wild. Wide, that's the word. As Hans Sama returns to bot. Now, Caps is kind of out the tough part of the lane. It is usually those first 6 levels for Yone that you're just getting pushed in. You're sitting there with your Doran's shield regeneration, just sustaining through the poke. But now when he's gonna get the Berserker Greaves, he finally will be able to take some aggressive fights onto this Orianna. But super great scatter the weak.
Yeah, good call out. Hans Sama 4-0 now is only getting scarier. Not going to be the boots too interesting from Caps. Going for the components for Blade of the Rune King. One of the things with the mid lane quest is the upgraded Merc Treads are so strong. Sometimes we do see Yones, and then in this case against double AP, so it makes even more sense.
Yeah, I mean,
opt for that instead. Knockback there, but it does cost him because normally that boot spike, as strong as Alvaro, is getting cold.
And look at Skewmon is already here for the dive. You see G2 taking an aggressive trade with the wave stacking into MKOI. And Super tries to clear it, gets level 6.
G2.
I don't think they can dive this. I think they are fine for now.
Just remember that pre-rework Tom Kench could have just devoured Super anytime anything was about to happen. That was just a thing that we allowed for many years.
It was a little bit problematic, but it's also quite fun.
It was fun.
I like this old ult where you could just take a guy on a journey.
Yeah, I like that too. Now G2 starting up the Drake. We've role reversed after game 1 as G2 are now the ones in really dominant control here. Mirwan's still doing fine on the top side 1v1, but a lot of that early gold advantage from the kill has disappeared.
Yep.
The Brav moving in mid lane as well. And again, as Caps gets closer to the way to the Rune King and more attack speed, I think it's just going to get harder and harder for JoJo to sit comfortably in that lane.
And I think what MKOI needs to do right now is just try to siphon off when, like, at this remaining time where JoJo is going to be stronger than Yone. Because JoJo is doing a good job in his lane. He's up 400 gold, and he's pushing in caps all the time. And you need to include JoJo in the plays. Whether that is JoJo just holding the wave like this, setting up for a potential gank, or just pushing with him mid and then just trying to defend bot lane. Because right now bot lane is just bleeding gold every single minute.
Yep, they are.
And you need to help JoJo help you. So you see Alvaro already running mid here. Tries to kind of shift the focus for MKOI, because if JoJo doesn't really get anything done before Caps gets bladed, it's going to be a very hard game for the side of MKOI.
Definitely is. Look, not a lot for MKOI to do other than stem the bleeding, as you've highlighted. We'll see with Elyoya at level 6 now if he wants to get super involved. They can still look for plays as long as Hans Sama is not involved. But Skewmon is the other member of the G2 lineup with a decent gold lead, and also has transitioned into a bit of an XP lead, so we're going to hold that thought. Skewmon moving in.
Here.
3 stacks there, Alvaro, nice lockup from the Zenith Blade. Q-Flash coming in. In the meantime, lockup on the Abyssal Journey does interrupt the play a bit as JoJo managed to live for far too long, but finally Broken Blade is here. Caps committing to finish the kill. MKOI now backing away. Quick kill picked up there for G2, taking JoJo out. A scrappy fight, but MKOI only losing 1, now thinking that they have to commit for a bit more as Super doesn't quite connect the damage the way he was looking to, and Hans Sama not afraid to just keep pressing forward.
And I think MKOI really wanted to fight that more, but you saw Rumble hovering down with the equalizer in case that fight would break out into a super skirmish. So MKOI kind of had to fall back a little bit and just leave him to die. Now we'll pick up 1 grub. Maybe they will hover behind here. You see Broken Blade walking up. quite far, dodges the harpoon. And I think Mega Timer is really the important one in this matchup. That's really where you can look to fight this Rumble.
Definitely an angle. You see Alvaro hovering in the blue buff just to give information to Elyoya, anticipating an invade on the top side from Skewmon. Skewmon resets and buys the Sundered Sky. So look, he is just so much stronger than Elyoya at this point in the game, and G2 incredibly favored in these skirmishes. It is the Berserker Greaves in the end for Caps. So he's now sitting pretty comfortably in the lane, has hit that critical threshold of enough attack speed to really spam out the Q and dance around some of the poke that can come out from an Orianna or a Syndra.
Yeah, we'll see if he goes for the Witsend maybe later. Has similar tendencies of the Mercury Threads with the Tenacity and the MR, so it does really help. But you don't really buy Critten, so really the laser spike might be an angle. But also with how ahead G2 is, you don't really need to itemize into defensive, because you can just take every single fight you want.
Yeah.
Problem for MCOY right now is they really need to slow down the game. This game is just too many fights for them, and they don't really have the stats yet to contest. You see, only lost chapter on the Orianna and Syndra. You don't even have the levels. The reason why mages went mid in the first place is because they scale with levels. Super doesn't even have level 9, doesn't have 5 points in his Q yet, so you see just the raw difference in ability and damage from G2 right now. That's why they're looking so strong.
Yeah, and Hansama now finishing the Essence Reaver as well, so 2 first completed item spikes for the side of G2 for 0 on the side of MCOY. Supa sticking around. Now he does have 40 splinters of Wrath, so he has the extra charge on the Dark Sphere. That will help a lot, but again, until you complete that first item, you just don't really have much kill pressure on Hans unless he, sticks around and lane at 50% HP for some reason. Alvaro, at the very least, is getting some catch-up XP and has actually pulled slightly ahead of Lebrov. So despite being mercilessly slaughtered on repeat in the early game, has managed to come back at least a little bit. Wants to get to that level 6, though. The fact that Skewmon is so fed and your Tahm Kench is so far behind in XP really mitigates the power of this as a, a theoretical counterpick.
Yeah. And we saw even back in the days when Lucian was really common mid, the main answer into the Lucian blind pick was the Syndra. Just because Lucian needs to dash in to do damage, you can easily stun him and then the combo and then just walk away. So even more kudos to Hansama for making this champion work. You can see how much more comfortable he is on the Lucian compared to the Victor. And this is really the Hansama that we know in Europe, the Hansama that pushes forward, gets lane leads and snowballs incredibly fast. As Thomas jumped in here.
Elyoya is here as well. Looking to find the lockdown. Elyoya has completed that first item spike, and now it's going to be Lebrov in trouble, locked up. Tongue Lash connects on the stun. Enough stacks of acquired taste to finish it. Flash in from Mirwin. Lock up on the support there. Good pick from the side of MCOY. G2, a bit overconfident in the bot side jungle.
I mean, really important for MCOY to get that kill, especially Mirwin TPing down and getting that kill, and Broken then matching the TP so he can't even get a cross map in the top lane. Just makes this net win for MCOY all in all. So very nice find there, and a little bit greedy as Drake is slapping his belly right next to me.
The Tahm Kench recall animation. Thank you. It's an important part of casting. You got to do it too every time. It's
method casting.
Yeah, it's method casting.
Yeah.
It's the Daniel Day-Lewis strategy. You got to be the Tahm Kench if you want to see the Tahm Kench perform. As now, at the very least, it feels like MCOY got a little something back. Unfortunately, Elyoya, again, the only member of their team with that first completed item. There's not really a lot for them to play through. G2 at 2 Drakes already. It's going to be Mountain Soul, which is going to make Syndra's life miserable in terms of trying to burst out these key targets.
And we're slowly approaching the point where Gnar just starts winning side lane against Rumble straight up. It's usually that Mercs and Phage or Mercs and Trinity for Spike where that really makes a very strong flip. So now I think Mirwin is really just trying to get that base up. Doesn't have TP to come back, but obviously when Mirwin has that side lane push into the Rumble, then MCOY has somewhere they can go. They have one lane at least that they can rely on to get push, get vision, and then maybe stabilize the map, because right now it's been just so volatile for them.
Yeah, it certainly has. And G2 doing a good job moving Hansama into the mid lane, trying to start knocking down these towers, make it that much harder for MCOY to sit and farm safely. Only 13 minutes in, 2.5k lead means G2 very comfortable running the map. The kind of...
Elyoya sitting behind bot here though. Look, might be a scrap happening. Keep your eyes on Elyoya. He is on a ward.
Here. This is not going to work out the way they want it to. The point-and-click combo is pretty damn good. The shockwave buys Jojo Pune an extra second, but the excessive force gets the job done. Alvaro on the way in, but he's only level 5. Elyoya getting burned down. The ult's going to keep him standing. Crescent Guard doing a lot of work, but it's still G2 who find that pick.
Yeah, I mean, you see, MKOI maybe should not try to play around their weak laners this much, because he's sitting behind Jojo thinking a play is gonna happen. But in the end, G2 was just there. They could have easily had a ward in that bush, and they did. Instead of playing around the Gnar, they're trying to just secure Jojo, but G2 is just, they have more members. Unless the fight happens super snappy, they will be there with more people, and they will just win that fight.
Yeah, they will. The deficit, the gap only continues to grow. I mean, 2,000 for Skewmon on top of the head, and Caps is about to hit that Blade of the Rune King power spike. So we finally got a couple Blackfire torches, but it's all just a little bit late to the party. Good news is Alvaro level 6 with a Locket Shield, so we'll stop some of that big AoE combo. But again, Yone is like annoying pre-Blade of the Rune King. Post-Blade of the Rune King, this guy is a demon.
I mean, Cap is a very comfortable game out of him. He just has to push inside then, and when a fight breaks out, he presses E, he presses R on whoever CC that just goes in. So he's having a really good time. Jordan on the other side, he will most likely be the target of that engage.
Yeah.
So it really restricts you and constricts the amount of movement you can do as a mage. When you constantly has to respect the engage of G2, just think about a vault, what is it called?
Vault breaker?
Vault breaking forward with that ult. Her range of engage is just so long with the equalizer. You're almost never safe unless you're on behind your tower.
And again, that's what the Tahm Kench is hopefully trying to mitigate here, is some of that long-range engage, start to protect you from some of that burst damage. And Alvaro is level 6 now, so we'll see if it works, because it's a 4K advantage for G2, but they're late on the setup. 50-50 on the steal. Looking for a little bit more. Mirwin off the side, trying to lock up Skewmon. Already, though, we see Supa incredibly low. Equalizer across the top. Eyes on Mirwin and the Mega Gnar. So far, only able to find one target. Immediate lockup, and Hansama trying to finish the kill. All 5 members of MKOI still standing. The retreat coming out, it's only Lebrov who went down.
And they got the Herald as well. This is a great play by MKOI. It's a 1-for-0 and the Herald picked up by MKOI. G2 has loved this fight.
Right there, but they were late to the play and weren't able to win the 50-50. MKOI definitely took a gamble to even try to force it, but the fact that they get the kill on Lebrov and get the eye makes it so good for them.
I mean, they were just here way before. You see, there's a double TP on that ward, but for this moment, MKOI is in a 5v3. It took so long time for Caps and Broken Blade to arrive that MKOI's positional advantage was already so grand that they were able to take the objective and then walk out. And it's when G2 tries to chase them where they end up falling.
And it is. Now we're back to live. Still 3.5k gold lead, right? But
yeah,
still a more comfortable scenario where we did not get to see the full kind of wombo combo we expect from G2.
Well, that's the thing, right? You want your rumble and you want to be there when you engage. If they are not there by the time you want to engage, they will be too late on the follow-up. MKOI can turn, and that's exactly what happened there. And it really highlights how fake a teleport can be sometimes, because people are like, we can contest this objective because we have TP. But your TP takes 4 seconds, and those 4 seconds can be so crucial in deciding the outcome of the fight. That sometimes it's better off to just be there with your team and then TP to your side then instead.
Yeah. The false sense of security really catching them off guard, punishing them. Objectively, on paper, you have that advantage, but if you don't utilize it in the right way, or if the enemy team can capitalize on that tiny window, then they're going to be able to make it out with more than you'd like them to have, although now third Drake fight over the Scuttle Crab.
All eyes on Hansama this fight. He is the carry.
Caps off to the side. Q3 knockup is there. Hansama finally arriving to the fight, off on a different side. MKOI taking a lot of space here. Solar Flare traded for the Devour and the Crescent Guard. So G2 favored in terms of ultimate cooldowns overall. And MKOI, it looks like they're just going to give. Instead, going to set their sights on mid lane, recognizing they really do not want to fight G2 without that Devour, especially when there is still the cease and desist available for Skewmon.
G2 can still look for something. They still have Equalizer. Caps.
Abyssal Voyage in from Alvaro. Doesn't find the knockup. G2 content with the snapback and moving on to Soul Point. MKOI, nice look into the mid lane. Looks like they might have gotten a bit of plate gold, but not able to get anything else. And this time around, G2 much more diligent in their setup and contestion of that objective.
Now you see they're all there, ready to contest. They were a little bit later than MKOI, but they didn't try to walk in before all 5 players were there. We said it before, every play needs to be a 5-man play. And the fact that G2 is now kind of taking those steps is a good sign for them in this game, because they can't disrespect MKOI and walk in a little bit split. Your Rumble needs to be there, ready to lay down the equalizer should a fight break out.
That he does. Mirwin, the one member of this MKOI lineup with an individual gold lead. And now it's once again going to be Jojo Pune in trouble on this side lane. Broken Blade laying down the equalizer, not offering a way out. As Jojo Pune out of mana and running out of time here. LeBron moves in, Zenith Blade connects, and down goes Jojo Pune. Another side lane death, a little bit devastating. There's no big objective on the map, but maybe Supa can turn it in mid. That's double Dark Sphere. That's every single ability connecting thus far, but it's just going to be traded for the calling out of Hansama. The red buff also going to heal him back up pretty quickly.
I like the Proto Blood Dilution. The kind of Proto Blood out of the calling there, denying him that big chunk that he usually gets on the mid wave. So Supa has been scaling quietly. He has 2 items right now. Hansama is also at 2, but approaching his third quite rapidly as now Supa.
Nowhere for him to go. Perfect layering of the ultimate's knockback, but it just doesn't even matter. Already he's down. Skewmon about to give his life, but he's still living for an extra second. Flash in from Elioya, now committing on to Hansama. Turn back onto Labrov as Mirwin starts to chase out Hans in the meantime. Not quite able to get the hyper proc. All of G2 pulling back, pushing MKOI away. Hansama and Labrov living, but it's a 1-for-1 trade. Skewmon for Supa.
I mean, it's all about the summoners, Dracos. Hansama used Flash. Soul Point is going to be in 3 minutes, and Hansama is not going to have Flash for that fight. This might be the small inch that MKOI needed.
Could make the difference. Supa also loses Flash, but not as important. He is not the turbo-fed member of the team. It's the 0-2-3 Syndra. If he gets one combo, pushes all of his buttons, gets a decent stun, feels like the team can maybe carry it from there, especially if the member he hits is the Lucian. The chase now from Mirwin.
With that tongue connects, I think he might end up having to Flash as well. So you see MKOI, they are behind, but they are still aggressive. They're still trying to make plays happen into this G2. And G2 hasn't been very diligent with their lead. They're making mistakes in the setup. Their teamfight execution is not always there, but now they're going on Mirwin.
Not being diligent. Mirwin taking some risks here, but the tower ticking down. Oof, one grub, not quite enough for that dot to finish it. Mirwin hovering, lurking around, but I mean, credit to Labrov and Skewmon. They have just been constantly supporting these side laners. Not always together at the same time, but sometimes it's Labrov wandering and sometimes it's Skewmon, and it has really led to a decent number of kills on both Supa and Jojo Pune. But for Mirwin, still has not fallen yet, although...
Oh, look at Caps is opening behind there. Look at Leona and Vi. Everyone is coming for this play right now.
Mirwin, good awareness. Don't know if he knew that there was Rumble in the brush, but is able to survive thus far. Needs to be careful not to step too far forward to the wall. Oh, the burn just barely takes him out. The backstep good to get away from Labrov, but he'll still lose his life in the 1v1 to Broken Blade.
Big pickup there from BP, getting the single dingle onto Mirwin here, setting up for the next dragon. It's in 120, and Mirwin will not have his TP before it. Now, why will this matter? He will not be there to set up the objective, but I'm holding that thought. Baron is being started by G2.
We're going to talk about single dingle later, but for now, we'll focus on the Baron. 11k, getting lower. Labrov waiting over the wall.
Labrov.
Hex flash in. G2 ready to turn back. Flash away from Alvaro. 4.5k, getting lower. Scatter across the team. 2.6, looks like they're just going to turn away, except that the Baron is going to fall. MKOI just retreating.
I think they're fine with it. They really need to secure position for this dragon fight, because now G2 has to make a choice. Are we giving this dragon, and will we just push out all the waves, or do we really want this soul point right now? I think the correct play is to give MKOI one dragon and just push all those waves, because if G2 over-index into this soul point, they might just walk into the trap of MKOI.
Thought they might. MKOI with the setup, Caps still pressuring on the side lane. Does not opt to recall, still has access to the TP if he needs it. Trying to make sure that G2 come out on top in this trade as Labrov waiting until he sees some of those waves move up to drop down that vision.
Skewmon is not here with you right now, Labrov. You need to be very cautious with this banana bush.
G2 6,000 gold up, but it doesn't matter if they don't have their 5th man. Caps poised to knock down that tier 2 tower. Pressure mounting as G2 are in a good position to at least contest or try to go for 50. Skewmon wrapping around in the meantime, but it looks like G2 are following your play, Finn. Just willing to concede this Drake to keep that pressure up. Right now in top lane as Caps threatening to break open the inhibitor line.
The impressive part is not that they chose that play. The impressive part is how early they committed to it. You saw the moment they took that Baron, Caps made the call to just go out and just push top. It was very clear at all points that G2 was not contesting that dragon. You see Labrov, he was looking around almost baiting MKOI to thinking, oh, they might come here, they might contest here, making sure they commit all 5 members to really get that dragon, while Caps just having the time of his life, blasting payphone on the side lane and just pushing down those towers.
Really good look from G2, calling their shot, committing to their play. MKOI delaying the end of the game, but still going to be in trouble here as the pressure is now going in. Ulti, the crossing guard from Elioya, buying a bit more space, pulling decent damage. Shockwave from Jojo keeps good. He's running out of mana, but it looks like he's enough to finish off Hansama. Supa, the unleashed power, finally there in the fight. Caps on the side, though, trying to commit the kill on Supa. He's going to get an immediate snap back on the Soul Unbound. Healing coming in from Elioya, but he's still starting to tick and starting to burn. MKOI happy with the fight thus far. 2 for 1, taking down Hansama, losing Supa and Alvaro, but at least slowing down the Baron push.
I mean, that's a big shutdown onto Hansama. And once again, his flash was used. You saw Supa get a big gold influx there, already picked up a full Void Staff from that kill. And a little bit too risky from G2 maybe with this Baron push. Sure, they got the tower, but going for this play, after you got the Crescent Guard, I think they could have waited just a little bit.
Zenith Blade might have committed him into it, though, as Supa stepping very far forward. The Shockwave catching out Hansama is what finishes it. Supa a little bit excessive with the ulti, but you really just have to be certain you are going to finish that kill.
And I think it's also super cool by Elioya. While he's being went on, he's so aware of what's happening. When Jojo connects the Shockwave onto Hansama, he's stacking up his Q on the people that are pursuing him. Insta flashes, Audacious Charge, gets the knock up onto Hansama to lock him down. I think that's just a good display of fantastic team fighting.
Yeah, another situation where Hansama is flashless, and this time around Supa does have access to his 3 items now for that opposing Syndra. Of course, 3 items that Lucian has are a lot scarier, I would say, than the 3 items that Syndra has, but you can connect that burst damage. It should be enough to get the job done. No real defensive items for Hansama, and Labrov isn't bringing any either. It's just the vamp on those boots to try to turn it as Caps really fearless in that side lane. Also now 100% crit chance for the Yone. MKOI on the ropes. It's not quite as dominant as game 1, but it's pretty damn close from G2. Really flipping it around in this game 2. Not with crazy creative cooking, but with some old fallbacks, some old standards here. Lucian, Leona on the bottom side, alongside this incredibly powerful Rumble by Yone top side.
And the old faithful works, good ult by Broken Blade, gets the flash from Supa now, super vulnerable in the upcoming fight. Most likely he's going to do 1 combo and ult before he dies. So good trade there by Broken Blade, and it's as you say, G2 is now slowing down the pace of the game, pushing out their side lanes. Caps is playing very confident on the side lane because he's Yone.
Oh, Alvaro on the chase.
Doesn't connect the Tongue Lash.
That's ideal. I mean, we talked so little about the actual mechanics of Tahm Kench, but you know, you hit the Tongue Lash, you kind of hit confirm through the Abyssal Voyage. In that case, he doesn't have it, right, because he used it to get in, but now he is just a little Devour bot, hoping to save somebody's life.
It's 1 minute until Soul Point, and you see Hansama has made a good choice. He doesn't have the flash for the Soul Point, and he knows that, so he has opted into buying that Hex Drinker. Might be the difference maker in this coming fight, you never know, but these items are a safety net you can fall back on if you would get caught out of position. And I think MKOI definitely needs to contest this Mountain Soul, because you can't really allow them to get sold. Then you're just going to get slowly choked out, they're going to get Baron, you're just going to get the entire game.
That they are. You can see MKOI forced to group in their jungle. They can't really contest waves right now without better information, so staying grouped, respecting the potential that G2 could be waiting in the darkness and hoping that a man advantage allows him to reclaim at least some of this vision and keep Mirwin safe as he farms his bot lane wave.
You know, Night Caps is using his E as a human ward. He knows that they can't go on him, so he just walks up into enemy jungle, and now they know that they're going 5 through bot side, or 4, because Orianna's not there.
Full commit onto Caps, so he's been locked up. A lot of damage now coming in. Supa unleashing the power one more time as Alvaro bringing out the tongue, putting Skewmon on his mouth, but I think he might have wanted to save the defensive cooldown to protect his team. Skewmon healing up a ton. Supa though the damage off to the side. GA proc. Here comes Hansama. Colin coming out. The Zenith Blade to follow. Knockup not going to connect from Alvaro as he tries desperately to hold on. Mirwin ready to go mega, but it has to connect if he wants this to work. Mirwin flash in. The knockback there from Supa. The combo is there. MKOI turning the fight. 2 members left to the 3 on the side of G2. If they can take down Supa, G2 can take the fight.
G2 sticking around, wall up, connecting, scatter, connecting. The Dark Sphere's coming in. LeBron living for far too long. The Protoplasm Harness keeping him alive. Skillmon there to finish the job. An ace for G2.
It's a fantastic team fight in favor of G2. It looks so dire. Your main mid laner, Caps, just dies before the fight even breaks out. And Hansama was not even there. He was running through the river to get to this fight. But you see just how much or how further ahead G2 is against MKOI, because even with a start like this, Caps goes down, doesn't really get anything before he falls. He only gets the Syndrold. But now it's all turning. You see Hansama running through the river. BB here buying space with the equalizer. And for one moment, it looks like MKOI is gonna win this fight. It looks really good there, but the moment Hansama shows up, it's all she wrote.
So true. Final moments, Hansama, nice backstep, good awareness.
And look at this. Here you think that the Gnar ult actually saves Hansama, or the Syndra saves Hansama because she dashes. At the same time, Murven ults him and then Supa scatters him out, but he ends up going down. Still could be really dangerous here, but here we see the ultimate of the fight. I thought G2 should just go the dragon here. Just make sure you get that soul before you contest them, but I mean in the end they are G2, they will take the fight and they are just stronger.
And I think that those final moments really come down to the smallest margins, the tightest calculations. It is the difference of the Protoplasm Harness that ultimately keeps Lebrov alive. And now that they've seen that, all those cooldowns come out from Syndra, it's over and done. There's no way for them to come back in that fight. Supa, though, fully stacked down the Splinter's Rat. He's got the execution threshold. He's got all that additional AP. And the death cap on the way. Jojopyun also with a death cap on the way. No defensive items here for either of these mages, really. Know that they need to have the damage to finish these fights cleanly, and it's only getting harder as the Mountain Soul has come through for the side of G2.
MKOI is just lacking engage. Like, who's really engaging for MKOI right now? Is it a Syndra stun? Is it a Shimshao jumping in? Is it a Gnar on a flank? It's quite hard for them to actually start a fight, even if they wanted to. Obviously here you just want to stall, you just want to make sure you can hold the base, but I think that's gonna be the problem all game for MKOI is now Caps.
Alvaro on the way in, has to devour if he needs it. Caps not gonna connect though. Sidestep the good there. Jojopyun still standing. Colin connecting on the tanky targets. They're not too concerned. Lebrov finds the lockup. Jojopyun is still alive, however, and that's a kill onto Lebrov. G2 a bit over eager. Miss-execute in that fight. They do get the flash out of Jojopyun at the very least.
You see G2, you see the jitters. It's quite difficult for G2 to end this game cleanly. They've had the upper hand all game long, but they keep making these plays. They keep going a little bit too deep there. You see Caps, the moment he misses the Fate Sealed, Lebrov just goes in anyway, and it's not the best look right now, but you really need to get some confidence because this series might go long. And you need to make sure you cleanly end this game so you can then move on into the next game.
Yeah, we've essentially had two pretty one-sided stomps. I think the difference between Game 1 and Game 2, however, is that MKOI's composition allows them a lot more room to come back into the game if you make those slip-ups, and G2 have been making those slip-ups. This does not feel like a game with a 10k gold lead. No. You tell me 5, you tell me 4, Baron Soul, I believe you. But it's 10,000 gold advantage, and still MKOI are often trading only slightly down in these fights, and now Jojo's finished a death cap.
I mean, it's partly because it's hard to siege against the double mage comp. They have a lot of wave clear. It's really hard to find them overextended on the side lane because they're just catching waves. But it's also just due to mis-executions by G2. You remember just Caps just there, getting caught before bot lane, just dying before the fight starts, now going in a little bit deep. It has to be a little bit cleaned up, I think.
G2 though now, just trying to keep the siege going. Syndra, as you highlighted, a control mage, but also just has access to the force of will to just pick up those minions, drag them out. Mirwin though, going to go in the rage, debuff cooldown. He's a little sleepy guy, can't get angry again for another 15 seconds. His lockup is there on Elyoyo, but good patience not to immediately use the Crescent Guard this time around. Solar Flare connects, fall up on the Jojo is there. Devour from Alvaro there as well, but it means he can't protect Supa. Jojopyun in the back line has to make all the difference. It's 2 members down in the blink of an eye. G2's not messing around, pick up quick 2 kills, and now they're poised to end the game. Flashing from LeBron, once again the lockup is there. Jojopyun taking his sweet time, he does not have access to the shockwave, and they do a lot of damage! Down goes the mid laner of MKOI. G2 going for the throat in the final moments. It took them a bit of time, but they close out that final fight cleanly and are going to take us to the Game 3.
And Hansama says, you can have a mage, you can have 2. As long as I am AD carry, I will destroy you. fantastic game by him on the Lucian. Super dominant from minute 1 till the end of the game. And this is why G2 in the end is still G2.
That they are. I like the bars, Finn. I like the rhymes. Now we get a game 3, which is sick. Because look, I want a closer game. The fights have been good. The drafts have been entertaining. The Tom Kench in the pajamas was awesome.
It was great.
But look, we're just going to have to find out because ultimately it's enough from us. Let's see what Hans has to say, who's standing by with Lore.
On est prêt? On est là? Ouais. Nickel. Hansama and G2 coming back here in the second game of the series. And I want to ask him, as an AD carry, how painful it is having to play against these type of champions. T'as déjà vu ça un petit peu pendant le MSI, on sait que c'était pas forcément dingue pour certains ADC, mais c'est pas seulement les mash bots en fait. C'est n'importe quel champion que tu peux jouer mid lane, à quel point c'est pénible pour toi de faire face à ce genre de champion.
Ouais, vraiment des strats à faire autour de ça, c'est la nouvelle méta, c'est AP carry bot, comme ça. Des fois il y a des Lucian, Ezreal, des fois, mais pas tout le temps quoi.
On aime bien, on n'aime pas? Sois honnête.
Bah, j'aime bien. Non, j'aime bien. C'est fun d'apprendre de nouvelles choses.
On verra si t'en sors pour la prochaine fois. Je vais te laisser rejoindre ton équipe. Talking about AP, mages, bot lane and the meta, there's a lot of things to improvise and a lot of things to learn from him. I asked him if he likes it. He says yes, but we are yet to see an AP carry for Hansama here. Kamel, je te rends la parole. And Desk, back to you guys.
Well, he likes it. He takes it as a learning opportunity, spoken like a true pro player. It does give us the perfect layup to talk about the bot lane a little bit more, which is what we wanted to do. Perks, he's back on the good list.
Yeah, hire him again.
We like him again.
Rehire him, bring him back in. All it took was Alvaro being level 1 until minute 5 for Perks to get back in our good graces. It was a bit of a struggle for Alvaro, but Hansama really utilized the fact that there wasn't a support on the other side to get massively ahead in the early game.
And it was so random because usually in these sorts of games when the supports are just roaming so damn much, it's not really the ADCs who are the main benefactors. I would have thought that Skewmont or Caps would have had bigger impact, but the fact that he was playing this high agency ADC, he gets to benefit to a great amount from this solo XP, from this gold. He has great all-in opportunities all the time. So I feel like he found a very good answer into this mate shenanigans that is happening in the bot lane.
I mean, especially into something like Syndra, where Scatter the Weak is really what separates you from an AD carry in terms of being able to develop space for you when an AD tries to jump on you. Lucian's really good at navigating around these line skill shots, right? So Hansama can just hold on to his Relentless Pursuit for a long time. As soon as he sees the Scatter the Weak used on a wave, dash forward, culling, and what can the Syndra do? At that point, Hans got so massively ahead in the early game that there really wasn't an easy way for MKOI to come back, even though we saw some close fights in mid-game.
Yes, and he did get very far ahead and he played it out to perfection, but talk to me about what happened to Alvaro. What happened?
Well, he got very far behind. Because it's a trade-off. When someone gets ahead, he gets so far behind. And it just started with the level 1, which was very bizarre because I expected that MKOI would be the main benefactors of this level 1 because MKOI did a 2-for-1 trade, and even though Labrov dies and then he ends up going bot lane faster, Alvaro has an easy pathing to just walk through mid lane, but at some point, now after this recall, he decides to just walk the greedy way in the river, and this will lead up to the infamous, well, it was very obvious to everyone that Alvaro was level 2 at 5 minutes, which is completely ridiculous. What happens there in this support meta when they roam? He missed 2 waves and a half of XP, and Labrov gets to catch it back, and now he tries multiple times to sacrifice his own tempo to gain benefit for Supa. And even now, Skewmont is level 4. The Tahm Kench is level 1. He's just a little snack. And after this, it's just nigh impossible to come back in the game. Gets level 2, still gets one shot.
Yeah, the problem is he doesn't have Thick Skin, his E. He doesn't have the Abyssal Dive when he's level 1 as well. He took Tongue Lash level 1 for the slow, which makes a lot of sense. But it really feels that like MKOI just got catfished by this pick, right? Like, you're stuck at level 1, the wave's pushing out from you, you're trying to step forward into a Leona who has great point-and-click CC and has the Zenith Blade to close the gap. If that's a different support, like a Thresh or something, you have a little bit more agency as the Tahm Kench, because you can just walk away a little bit easier, but because it's a Leona who so quickly closes the gap, and a Lucian who's passive, the Light Slinger, benefits off the fact you're CC'd, it becomes really difficult to survive as the Tahm Kench.
And that's just the volatility of the support meta, because I don't really feel like he made a lot of mistakes.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Like, let's not hold, like, as a support, when you kill the enemy support level 1, you cannot walk down through river.
But that's the main...
He's a catfish.
Exactly, he catfished everyone. But that's the main mistake that he did. They just set the whole chain of ends that happened afterwards. Sure, maybe there was one time when he already sacrificed his tempo to stop that base and he dies. It was his first death. But even if he doesn't do that, the fact that he loses 3 waves of XP just like that, he will be completely useless for the whole game.
Yeah, so it's draft diff anyways, what you're saying, or not?
No, it's a reaction to level 1 diff. Yeah. Because I think drafts are relatively equal between the two teams. I like having 2 mages for wave clear and such. Having an AD carry obviously gives you the ability to get through targets a lot stronger. Whereas when we saw those mid-game fights, it was actually still very even though G2 had a large lead. Like, MKOI had enough they could do and enough burst potential that they didn't have to worry too much in terms of individual drafting inaccuracies, prowess, I guess, right? So I don't think it was a draft diff. I think it was a gameplay diff, and I think Alvaro really scuppered the early game for his team by walking down through river instead of either resetting and going straight to bot or taking a longer route round through his jungle. And part of the reason we see that is because as a support, you're not really punished for being out of your lane early doors, right? You lose 25% golden XP up to level 3 if you last hit a minion outside of bot lane. If you hit an enemy champion, you get the full gold and the full gold from it. So it doesn't really matter that much, which is why we're seeing so much roaming. But here, it really costs you when your enemy AD carry gets so far ahead.
That's also the dangerous part of the support game nowadays, where before it really felt like you just look on the map and see what lane is on fire, and more often than not it was the ADC because you had the squishy champion that could just be getting dove. But now with the mages, especially on the side of Syndra, because he had Syndra on his team, Syndra was just pressing Q on the wave. It was just like one-shotting wave. Every time there's a slow push, he gets to one-shot the wave in one spell rotation. It feels like you have a lot more freedom than you do, and that's the dangers of having way too many options on when it comes to playing the game, because beforehand it was just streamlined. Oh, I had this cycle of vision that I could put, and I had this cycle I need to catch my wave. But now when there's just nothing to do and you have absolute freedom, that's the freedom nibbing him.
I actually think it's why G2 did a really good job of punishing Alvaro in this game, because if Alvaro is level 2, he can basically go wherever he wants. He can gank top, he can gank mid, he can look for those abyssal dives into the fight. Whereas because he is stuck level 1, a Tahm Kench walking at you, trying to lick you is not too scary, okay? Maybe it's some people's night terrors, but in terms of on a Summoner's Rift, it's not too worrying.
It's true. So we've got another game, which is good. We're upping the anticipation for when KC does take to the Rift later versus Vitality. A couple of thoughts about Game 3. We've seen 2 very different looks. I would say we saw stomp for stomp, honestly, from either side.
It was pretty one-sided, either way. I think we're going to see skirmish heavy again. It seems like both teams are very heavily bought into that. In terms of supports, there's still a few roamers around that you could go for. You can even look for things like Rakan that Alvaro loves to bring out. So I don't think we have to be tied to full bot lane support meta.
I wonder what we're going to see. Maybe something crazy again from Supa in the bot lane. Subscribe. We'll see. Indeed, but we're going to kick it over to a break before we get to the last game of this series.
Welcome to the European League of Legends Championship Series.
What an incredible play there from...
Oh, that was incredible. You love to see it.
Right, yeah, let's really
get into... What a move! He's just so good. I mean, the persistence, the patience to find the angle. You just don't see that from rookies. He's got it all. He's got the bad.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Ooh, that looks good. Do you want to maybe share a little bit? Yeah.
What a move.
Red Bull gives you wings.
When I was a player, if I was to like make a misplay, maybe it's my mouse, maybe it's my armrest, something feels wrong. If you were at home, you wouldn't do that.
The Infinite Precision Armrest is part of the larger Secret on Stage standard initiative, aimed to bring your home or training room settings to the tournament stage.
이제 저뿐만 아니라 다른 선수들도 세팅을 더 원활하게 할 것 같고
가장 편안할 때
더 강력한 플레이가 자연스럽게 나옵니다.
Welcome to the European League of Legends Championship Series.
Guys, sorry guys, I got muzzled. Just mega drafted my first day on the job, you know. Just mega drafted. I did say I was gonna blame it on Cups, but I will not.
I mean, she's gonna flash on the tower, but maybe you can. I think you can. You can. They are ulting, guys.
I'm coming, but I'm far.
She's dead. Nice, it's not to be, okay? Not to be.
Out, yeah.
I mean, there's big Bernie.
Oh, one out. I can't ult this still.
Nice. Good job, guys.
Nice game, guys. Let's win this.
We heard from Perks, Diffie in the draft department.
Coach Gap.
Coach Gap game 1. Game